right, guys, welcome back to my vlog. Tonight would be a very interesting video, or I may say interview, because I'm going to interview a good friend of mine. I've met her in the US. She's Indonesian and have both pursued US internship. We both had the management training program for an international brand, and that was Weston. After that stint in the US, we both came to our own home countries, me in the Philippines and her in Indonesia, and we both became hotel duty managers. So we are going to share our experience having worked in the US and how did it affect us afterwards. Is it worth it to pursue an internship in the US? So without further ado, please help me welcome my good friend, Putri Tara Pangapean. Hey Tara, it's been a long time. Selamat malam. Apa kabar? Did I say it right?
Right? Yeah, you said it right.
I was trying to speak in Indonesian as a courtesy to an Indonesian friend. I suppose we
Thank
have the
you.
same time, right?
Yes, we do. 9:30?
Okay. 9:30, yeah. 9:30
Mm-hmm.
in the evening. So have you been?
Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I just got home from the gym. I bet you just did as well. So Tara, thanks for your time for tonight. We are going to discuss about internship, something that is very, very familiar to us. It seems
Very.
like yesterday, but actually it was 6 years ago. Can you believe that? 6 years ago.
2016. Yeah.
2016 to 2017. Man, we were
Mm-hmm.
like, what? I was like 25, 20. Yeah, I was 25. You were 21.
Was I really? Wait.
Were
Yeah,
you?
yeah, it was. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was 21.
it's been a while.
Just turned legal.
Yep.
It's been a while.
So to everyone who's watching this one, if you're on that age of 20s to early 30s, it's never late for you guys to pursue US internship, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Tara, speaking of US internship, what made you
Mm-hmm.
decide to pursue hospitality internship in the US?
I've always been in love with the idea of traveling the world and kind of mixing that with my career.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the reason why I chose hospitality in the first place. So at the opportunity, once the opportunity arose, I just just immediately just like, okay, let's go through this whole process. It was a quite actually a long process if you really think about it, but it was really worth it, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
But take me back with you. You did not come from Indonesia when you were in the US. You were in Switzerland, right?
I was, yes, I was.
Yeah.
I went to a Swiss school
Mm-hmm.
and I had a really good time there. I actually had a very short internship in Switzerland as well before I decided that, hey, oh my God, I can go to the US for this. Like, let's go.
So, are you fluent with French? Vous parlez français?
No,
I can
I
speak
was
a little
actually,
bit, but it
yeah,
was only a foreign language in the Philippines in back in the college, but it was difficult because I don't have French friends. It's somehow not smart to study foreign language if you cannot just really apply that every day. How different was Switzerland compared to the US?
well, first of all, I can actually understand what the American people are saying.
Uh-huh.
I when I was in Switzerland, I was staying in a German part of the country, so everybody around me speaks Swiss German.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like zero knowledge of it whatsoever. So
Mm-hmm.
I every time that I go out and then maybe like I get lost and then my phone is like out of battery, I just like pray to God that they could speak English, like the people around me, so that I could ask them. But like in America, obviously everybody spoke English, and it was easier for me to navigate my way through.
But what
So
was it like in terms of hospitality field? Did you live in the city?
in Switzerland or
Mhm. Yeah, in
in
Switzerland.
Switzerland, no, I was living like on a mountain, is like on the top of the mountain, and it was super quiet, villagey area. So I barely met anyone who are native Swiss. So it's
Is
just
that
mostly
so?
like my school, and then that's pretty
Oh,
much it.
okay.
So
So that is where your school was located. It's kind of in a remote area on that province. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mm,
yes, very. Mhm.
okay. That's nice. Now, during your internship in the US already, during our internship, what were your top three places that you have visited?
Top three places.
Yeah. Me, I have top three things in my mind, but you first, ladies
Oh,
first.
oh, I think I went to a Smithsonian museum.
You mean in DC?
I in DC. Oh, you mean in the US? Okay.
Yeah, in the US. In the US.
Oh, I've been to all of the Disney parks in the US. I
I
love that.
uh-huh.
Um,
I think the
the
biggest
all
one
the
was in
Disney
Orlando.
parks.
You've been to Orlando, the Disney World?
I've been to Orlando, yes.
Oh yeah, I have a friend who works there. His name is Jeff, and he keeps on telling me, "Hey Brian, you should visit me here in Florida, and you don't have to worry about anything. Just be here, and I got you." But I never had a chance to go to Florida. So tell me about it. Why do you like
So,
Disney places?
well, always been my uh my dream, my absolute dream. It was like maybe like the top of my bucket list to visit, especially like the Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
Uh-huh.
So I think, yeah, that particular place kind of struck something else in me.
And
Like,
what
yeah.
was it like when you were already on that place? Did it give you nostalgia, childhood memories? Because I think I've only been to one Disneyland in Hong
Yeah.
Kong. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm not really a fan of theme parks. I could go to theme parks,
Hmm.
but I'm not really a fan of theme parks, mainly because I really had a very good childhood that I don't have to live on the fantasy anymore. Yeah, trust me, I played all the street games when I was a kid. But you know what? I tell you what, when they had a parade, I saw Mickey Mouse
Mm.
and what else the characters. But when I saw Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, the Disney princesses.
Hmm.
I was like, wow, they're really real. Somehow it brought nostalgia in me. I never thought that would really happen. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I certainly had like out of the body experience almost when I was like
Yeah.
at the gate. I was like, oh my God, like this is real. Am I really here? Is this all a dream?
Yeah.
That kind of feeling. Like, yeah. But
Right.
it was really, really fun.
So I would understand why they say Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. Yeah. They sell memories, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah, they
sell
do.
memories, childhood memories. So, you only mentioned one. What are your other two top places? You can mention a city.
Oh, yeah, I've been to LA. It was quite an experience.
That's
I
your
would say
top
it's a
two.
mixed. Yeah, well, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
At first I was like, oh my gosh, like this is Hollywood, or like this is LA. This is where like all the magic of Hollywood came to be,
All
like
the
blah blah
glitz
blah.
and
Of
glamour.
course, exactly. Like, growing up watching all of those Hollywood movies and like arriving there just felt so real. But also the fact that it's not the glitz and glamour probably that people think it is.
Mhm.
Like the fact that the what is it called? The walk, no, walk
Walk of
of
Fame.
Hall of Fame? Walk of Fame. Yeah,
Hmm.
the
The
Hollywood Boulevard
stars on the
area.
floor. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Hollywood
Um,
Boulevard.
yeah, people just don't realize how dirty that place is, and like how many like homeless people are there. And it's like one wrong turn to the wrong neighborhood and you're like in the shady area of Los Angeles. Like it's just so much more real when I was there, and it's not at all the Hollywood that I imagine it to be. So
Right, right.
I guess, yeah, manage your expectations.
Actually, that area is in downtown LA, and downtown
Mhm,
LA is not really the most favorable area if you want to go there.
mhm,
You would rather be in Santa Monica or in what's that place? Huntington or in Laguna area, somewhere up north or somewhere down west. Yeah,
mhm,
but in downtown, when I went there, I was looking at the stars and I only had a picture
mhm.
with Kermit the Frog. I was looking at celebrities, but I had little time there. And you know what? I saw some stars without a name. So I'm thinking,
Oh,
who could be the first Filipino Hollywood celebrity? Could it be Brian? I was just bluffing to myself, but yeah, I mean, who knows? So
maybe.
you said Disneyland, you said LA, and what is your top
Right.
your
Dis
third one?
Disneyland, LA, and probably New York. I went to New
Oh,
York as well. New York
yeah,
was great. And surprisingly very close to Washington, D.C. You can
right.
take like a short bus ride
I
for
took the bus
$5.
myself, yeah. I took the bus. I did not take the
Yeah.
train. Yeah,
Yeah, it was so
because
much more serene and more, yeah,
right, right, right.
it's much more beautiful.
I think for us tourists, it's best to take the train to take the bus rather, because going
Mm,
from Washington DC to New York, you would be passing different cities and states that are also happening, so you get to see the sceneries instead of taking the tunnel
yes.
to the train, right? So it's cheaper. It would take a little more time, but the sceneries, it's quite an experience myself. Yeah. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if we
Just
could
take the
pass.
scenic route.
Right. We
Yeah.
passed to Maryland, to Pittsburgh. Was it Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia?
Yeah.
I forgot because
Pennsylvania.
I was sleeping on the trip. I was so tired. Okay. So for you, you said Disneyland, LA and New York. For me, my favorite city or place in the US is San Francisco, which is my background. I
Yeah.
really like the place. It's like Cebu, which where it's where it's where I live now in the Philippines. Lots of bridges. There are some hillside, like the people who are like affluent families live in the top of the hill, and we have ports. The topographical feature of San Francisco is very similar to Cebu. Although the weather there is more unpredictable compared here, so I like San Francisco. It's a very Asian friendly city. I like it. My second one would be Santa Monica in California. I like when I
Oh.
went to Santa Monica Beach, I fell in love here. I was like, I could play beach volleyball here all day. And it's very laid back. I never thought I would like California because I'm quite the hustle bustle type of guy. Like I could live in New York.
Mm,
But when I went to LA, it's pretty laid back. I like it. It made
yeah.
me feel like time is quite slow here and you would enjoy. But it's not cheap there, I tell you what. And the third one would be New York. I like New York because it's very happening. You could do so many things anywhere in New York. It's really a melting pot. I like it. It's very different with LA. It's pretty different. It's the exact opposite. If you're at the age of your if you're at that age that you want to explore your career, explore more of yourself, you go to New York. If you
Hmm.
survive there, you can make it anywhere. Right.
Yep.
Interesting to know. Now, what was your first impression when you first arrived in the US? I know that you arrived first in the US before you had the internship as a tourist, right? As for me, I arrived there as an intern. So take me with you. What was your first impression when you first arrived in the US as a tourist?
Um, I mean, it was quite surreal actually. I came the first time with my mom.
Mhm.
So my mom's side of the family live in Texas. And
Uh-huh.
so I arrived in Dallas airport and I was like, everything is in English. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is real. And
That was my
you know,
first point of entry to Dallas Fort Worth, Texas.
yeah,
Mhm.
and uh I'm not trying to be racist, but there's like a lot of like, oh, there's a lot of white people here. And I was like, wow, this is real. No Asians. Yeah, so yeah,
Not
quite surreal.
very few in Texas, maybe in California, yeah.
Yeah, and then just like thinking that, oh my God, it's real, and this is only gonna get more exciting. So just like cannot wait to get to my accommodation or like my house or the hotel or whatever it may be. So yeah, really, really, really happy.
Me, my first impression was when I was in the US, the moment I first stepped out of the airport in DCA, Ronald Reagan Airport in Washington, DC, when I was
Mhm.
talking, there was like smoke. Do you say smoke? Because it was March
Well, like
already then,
fog, yeah,
like the fog. How
yeah,
do you say that? We're Asians. How can we describe that thing when it comes out from
when
our
it's so
mouth
cold,
when it's so cold?
like the fog coming out of your mouth
Yeah,
because
the
it's so
cold
cold.
smoke.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I was so ignorant. I was like, we don't experience that
It's
in
common.
the Philippines. So it was like,
Yeah, definitely not
wow,
Philippines.
there's free aircon everywhere. I like it. Bro, it's so cold that it didn't bother me because I've always wanted to be in the US. So I was
But
conditioning my mind to be there. Yeah.
weren't you prepared like with all the clothing, like jackets? Were you prepared about like how cold it can really be
Oh
in the
yeah.
US?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
I think my family wanted to buy me a jacket, a winter jacket, lots of them,
Hmm.
because my father is we call it seaman here in the Philippines, like a sailor, and he's been around the world, so he has some winter jackets himself, and he gave me some of his jackets, and I said I only need one because I think winter's going to be just for 3 months. I only needed one, so because um, so when I arrived there, I was just so covered. I think I was wearing 4 layers of clothing plus that thick jacket. I was
Yeah.
I really came prepared. I've been wanting to be there for a long time. You have no idea. So when I was there, I was really living the time of my life.
True. Same.
Okay.
Same here.
Now, what was your most memorable encounter with a guest? So this time in our hotel. Ah,
So there's this lady who came straight from the airport. She looked exhausted. I think it was about 8 p.m. ish.
were
So
we
I
on the
believe
same
that
shift
she
that
just came from
time?
the airport. I'm not sure because I remember I was dealing with this lady by myself. So
Ah,
I
okay.
might have been by myself around that time because like at nighttime, it's not as crowded as it is like afternoon or morning. So sometimes maybe, yeah, for I don't really remember who I was with at the time, but this lady came very exhausted and then she was asking for a toothpaste or something like very mundane, very like something that we could just easily give them or her. So I did that, but I also like took a bunch of like every possible bathroom of not appliances, bathroom things
Amenity?
that
Yeah.
yeah, that she may need, that she
Ah,
was so surprised. And then remember we had that Georgetown cupcakes
right.
that we just like prepare.
For
So
elite guests.
I gave her exactly we gave her I gave her one of that because we have like several leftovers.
Mm.
And then I gave her like a bottle of water. I pretty much gave her everything. Like,
You gave her a
here you
grocery.
go.
You gave her grocery
Exactly.
shopping.
Even though CVS is just like over there, like not even
Mm,
like a block away. It's like within the same block. It's just like
mm.
few steps away from the hotel. But I pretty much gave her everything, and I'm not supposed to say this, but I think we have some like lip balms on the drawer. I think it was meant to be sold in like a shop before. I'm not sure. We're not supposed to give it to the guest, but I did because she might need it because she's a girl. I don't know. But I pretty much just put everything inside the one bag. Shaving, so shaving kit, shower cap, um, conditioner, shampoo, body wash, toothbrush and toothpaste, lip gloss, everything that she might need, and I put it in the bag and I gave it to her. And then I remember a few days after, she actually made a comment about me, and she was like, "Oh my god,
Oh,
thank you so
a
much."
good review.
A good review. Yeah, she left over a good review, and I was like, "Oh, so happy about it." I don't know why it just stuck in my mind even now. So I think that's the most memorable guest in a
Yeah,
positive way.
that's good. That's good. Most Americans are pretty much easy to please, as far as I can
Yeah,
recall. If you're quite quick with your judgment and you just really give what they need on that certain time or certain period, you can satisfy them.
yeah,
Unlike locals here, it's pretty more difficult to please them. Shall I say that? For a lack of a
yeah.
better
I
word.
agree.
Is it similar in your
Asians,
country?
I think so. Yeah, people are so. I wouldn't say everybody, but this is like a pattern that I see in Asian countries too.
Mhm.
People are just much more so demanding and very feeling very privileged in a way that they feel like they're so much higher in terms of like status of ranking than those of like people who are in the service industry. So not
Yeah.
necessarily only in the hospitality industry, just basically anybody who serve anybody. And
Yeah.
they're just feeling so like, ah, like you have to do whatever I say, even though it's against your rules, whatever. I'm the guest, whatever.
That's
Guest
good.
is
Yeah,
always right.
I think that's very cultural and very interesting though. I think
Mhm.
for some, but not everyone, but typically Asian guests feel more entitled,
Yeah,
even though they're paying less, and that's fine. We cannot change them. It's pretty normal in the hospitality industry. It's just really up to
yeah,
us how we see it in a different light, so it will not so that it will not stress us out. I'm pretty sure some of them would just try to test out our patience, try to bring out the horns in us if there are. So it's pretty interesting to deal with different guests, and you would really compare the upbringing, if I may say that.
uh,
Yeah, the
yep,
upbringing. It really makes me realize that sometimes education doesn't really give you good manners and right conduct. Some people who are sophisticated, who are well traveled, say they have more manners in terms of dealing with different people, but those who have those who are quite limited in terms of traveling,
yeah,
yeah, it's different, but I wouldn't still discount the fact that some people who are not well traveled are still nice. I think it's just really in the person. Yeah.
yeah. If you're a good person, you will be good. But
Yeah.
if you're just a shitty person, I mean,
I remember there were some guests back in our hotel, and some of them are really having a hard time speaking English. And
mm,
I was quite reading them in my own way. I could really feel they were so genuine that they need help. So instead of like getting pissed why they couldn't speak English, I was trying to understand more of their situation, and I was just flipping our screen and just do the Google Translate, trying to help them instead, so I could check them in. Yeah, those simple things. I mean, they want to visit the US, but they are not as fluent as other people are. And just because of that, some people think that they are inferior than them. I don't like that kind of attitude. I don't like that. I don't like that kind of guest. I would try my best to avoid them if I want to, but if I cannot, I just have to tune in myself.
Deal with it.
Okay. Yeah, I just have to deal with it anyway. It's like another day in the hospitality industry. Okay, now that is your most memorable. Tell me about, was it difficult living in a city with four seasons? You mean for Washington, D.C.? Was it difficult for you? Because
Not at all.
for those who are watching, the US is a very big place, and some places only have two seasons, some places have four seasons. For
Yep.
Washington, D.C., where we used to work and live, we have four seasons. So Tara, was it difficult for you living in a city with four seasons?
Not at all. I think and that's one of the top five parts aspects of the country that I love the most is because like I can actually rotate my wardrobe.
Ah, ah, you
So
keep
my
it
favorite,
paired with your wardrobe.
yeah, so my favorite season is actually winter because I don't know, it's like it's just something that you never experience in Asian countries, especially like in tropical countries like the Philippines or in Bali.
Mm,
And so the winter was probably my most favorite. My second one would be autumn, like fall. Just like the season where like the leaves are changing colors,
yeah, the
and
foliage.
everything. Yeah, everything is just so beautiful. And
That's my favorite
um
season. October, which is my birthday. The trees. I don't know. The ambience is just so romantic.
you just feel like you want to listen to Taylor Swift songs all day long, you know?
Not for me.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So no, not at all for me. Maybe like the most tedious one would be summer, just because like, oh gosh, it's just so freaking hot all the time.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, I don't have any problem with it at all. In like the spring, in Washington, D.C., there's this like, I don't know, like a festival of some sort
The
where
cherry
there's like the cherry
blossoms.
blossoms
Yeah.
like along those what do you call that
In
area? It's like blooming.
in it's in National Monument on the area.
Yeah, I think
Right.
so. Yeah.
Yep. In the I think it's near who's that man? Lincoln on that area. Or was it
Yeah,
that
Lincoln
that
and
that pencil thing? Was it the Washington Monument? Arlington Monument?
Pencil.
I forgot. It's been 6 years. That area in National Museum, that long straight area. Yep.
It's a huge area,
They
but like
they
yeah,
have Cherry Blossoms Festival every, I think, March to April. That's when spring starts in the US. Yeah.
yeah. I think
Me,
end of March.
right, that's correct. Me, I had no problem at all. It's something that I want to experience myself. Here in the Philippines, we only get rainy and sunny seasons. So when I
Right.
arrived there, it was approaching to spring, but since when it came from winter, the weather, like the wind is still cold from the snow. So I experienced that. And then when it's time to bloom things out for spring, I really like it. My American friends told me, "Hey Brian, you should wear some mask because you might have some pollen allergies." And I never experienced that because what is pollen allergy? We don't have that in the
I
Philippines, or
don't know.
maybe I just didn't know. So when I was on that area, I was I was taking a picture with cherry blossoms. I never had pollen allergies. So it's pretty fun because it's not it's not hot, it's not cold. Even when I was wearing a suit, it was not hot, it was not cold. There was sunlight, but it was not hot. It was so interesting to me. I was feeling ignorant. I had to admit that. Then when it was summertime, it's like another day in the Philippines, and Miss
Yes.
Like the employees in Weston, some people in the streets, they were so complaining with the heat. And why are you guys complaining? It's like every day in the Philippines or in Bali, but you just have to
Exactly.
be in the beach. So I was fine with it. I
Yeah.
I could live with it. Then it when it was time for autumn, I don't know, the leaves just slowly fall. The ambient is just so different. I don't know. I like autumn the best. It feels so romantic. It brings out the romantic part of you. It's the old school of you. I just like that. I don't like winter actually. It's my least favorite season because I could never really get used to winter. Although when it was snowing, I tasted the snow and I touched the snow because yeah, I did. I tasted the snow because I never I experienced snow here in the Philippines. So I just tasted it. I was curious. It tasted like tap water.
I
Shave
mean, yeah.
shave tap water. It's dirty water anyway. Yeah, I don't like winter because it makes me feel itchy, gives me
Mm,
rashes. Yeah. But the
I
experience
think,
was nice.
yeah, the one part that I don't miss about winter is the static electricity. I don't know why, like just my hands when it doesn't touch anything and it just and then suddenly it wants to touch like all the like anything metal or
Mm.
I don't know, and then suddenly it just shocks my fingers like the static
Yeah. And
shock.
when it's winter time, you're just really indoors. There's limited activities outside, especially when there's a snowstorm. I don't like that. It makes me
I love
eat
watching
and
that.
binge eat a lot. I don't like getting fat there. Okay, so now, Tara, what was the least thing you did not like working or living in the US? Your least favorite, if there is, if there was.
Mm, the least thing. Oh, oh, static shocks is number one. No,
Mhm.
um, mm, maybe it's just the fact that the US as a whole is not uh a very safe country. I mean, don't get me wrong, like it didn't happen to me. Nothing happened to me while I was in the US,
Huh?
but you just have to be like street smart. Because like for me, for us living in Washington DC, you are um gonna get surrounded by like a lot of homeless people around the city area, and you just have to be like, I don't know, like just being street smart and also not very naive, because sometimes they try to want to talk to you or
And took
like
advantage of you.
taking advantage of you, like a lot of people taking advantage. I think it's just not in the US, it's everywhere in the world as well, but yeah, just gotta be like smarter in that aspect. What else do I not like? It's just so hard because my memories of the US is very pleasant and very wonderful. So
Right? So it's
yeah,
pretty
it's
hard to think of something bad or something so like memories that did not really work well for you. I feel the
mhm.
same. I would agree to that because me, I don't have any particular least favorite thing in the US. Of course, there are some days that I feel tired, but I never felt sad. For almost being there for almost 2 years, there was no single day that I was homesick. I mean, I miss my family. Actually, I was never homesick because I was living my life there. I was really aware that not everyone could go there, not everyone could work there, and not everyone could earn there. So there's, I mean, if there are some things to complain, there are way more things to be grateful for. And I always like to put myself on that thinking. So it would be easier to work. It would be much fun to live in the US. I tell you what, Tara, when we were working, even though they are very difficult guests, I could just let it pass. I mean, they're not mad
Yeah,
at me personally. They're just mad at the situation, and I could get away with that. And once I step out of the hotel, I'm a tourist. I'm back to being a tourist. I get so happy when I see the squirrels. I get so happy with the trees. I mean, these things that people take for granted, for me, it's beautiful. I think it's the same when we are when we are in our home country. Some foreigners appreciate the little things in Indonesia or in the Philippines, but we guys don't see it that way, right? So I like it. I really had no dull moments in the US. If there are, I could just get away with it because there were more good things that happened.
I agree.
Mm. So now, Tara, for those who would like to pursue internship in the US, what would you tell to someone who wants to pursue an internship in the US but is not sure? Especially now that I think international borders are slowly welcoming interns or people who would like to pursue management training. I think I'm aware that in Australia they have opened their borders already. In the US, I think they also did. What would be your suggestion or your advice for someone who is interested but is quite unsure? You first. I have some advice,
Mm,
but you go first.
it definitely depends on like what you are unsure about and whether that would affect the whole experience
Mhm.
of you being in the US. But if it's something minor like, oh, I don't know about the safety there, you can always like I don't know, like reach out to someone maybe who
Mm.
has gone through like an internship in the US. And the US is not as scary as people think, but also it's not as safe as people think. It's just a place, and it's most probably the same as any other place in the world. So if you are interested in pursuing an internship in the US, I think the first thing that you have to do is to research um like the states. First, like think about the states, because sometimes the wage might be something to
Different. Yeah.
consider about.
The tax
Yeah,
as
each
well.
state has different, yeah, the taxes, different minimum wage, and then living cost, and then like I don't know, like safety. You have to research a lot of things, which I didn't do because I just booked. Not I just booked, but I just chose the
Mm.
first thing
You know
that they
what?
offered
You know what?
me.
Let me just share one thing. I remember when I was still new in Washington, D.C., I was looking at the menu and my money was just really enough. When I was looking at the menu, there was this food that was, let's say, 10.95, $10.95. So I had with me $11. I said, okay, I'm good. When I paid at the cashier, it was like 12 something or almost 13. And I said, ma'am, excuse me, I thought the price on the menu was only 10.95. And he said, yes, dear, but you still have to pay for the taxes. Oh, so that price of the menu is not yet net. It's still subject to tax? Yes, honey. Okay, cancel that order, please. I never knew that. It's well here in the Philippines, it's when the prices are in the menu, it's already net, but in the US it's different. It's still
Yeah.
gross. It's still gross. Yeah, I just
Um,
remembered it.
yeah, the taxes you need to research as well.
Correct. Mm.
And also the convenience of where you live. Like,
Mhm.
I know that some hotels, like for example, if you're applying for an internship in the US and then they offer you somewhere in Colorado, most of the time, like the hotels will be like on a ski resort and will
Correct.
be like super excluded. So it's far away from the city. So just like think before you actually choose, because sometimes
Mm.
it's like really hard to actually get around the city, unless that's what you like. Maybe you're an introverted person and you don't
Mhm.
really like to go out anyway, so like fuck it, might as well. Oh my god, I'm sorry for my language, but um yeah, so research, and then what else you should do. Just like I think you should just do it. I just don't know why you might say no. Maybe because of the budget as well, but if you really think about it, you'll get all your money back because they really offer you like good wage eventually. So definitely you're gonna be able to pay whatever you spent in the first place
Mhm,
and get like a lot more than that too.
mhm,
So yeah, do it.
mhm. Well, it's very different from you because you are you're a girl born with a silver spoon. You said it in Switzerland. So I'm going to speak in behalf of me, people who are like mid, how do you say that? Middle wage earner family type. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
So me and my end, what I would advise if you would like to pursue internship, specifically in hospitality in the US, is first, are you independent enough? So if you could say yes, okay, that's a check. If no, start first in the Philippines or start first where you are. If it's your first time living independently, if you got used to living with your family, maybe you should start working independently first. That would be a good start so you don't get shocked when you are in the US.
Yeah,
First things first, you are speaking in English every day, and that is already an effort for you. And the pace, Americans typically have big expectations and they don't like delays. So culturally, if you are the type that you get easily discouraged with some vulgar words or languages, they're just pretty more direct. Yeah, they're just pretty more direct. So first things first, learn to be more independent. Number two, have a more thick skin. Don't take things personally. If you can
true.
if you can say that you are okay with that, then that's another check. Number three, focus on your budget first. I
Mm-hmm.
understand that some placement agencies have different charges. So do your research first. Always compare the budget to your stipend or your hourly salary. Now, the one that you mentioned earlier is also a good tip. Learn and choose properly your work city. Because if you would choose a city that's very secluded from the province, of course you'll be earning less, and your life there is pretty boring. When it's your day off, you cannot do anything because you are not in the city.
Yeah,
So you should choose a strategic location for a city. Also choose a good property or good hotel. Of course, if you are going to spend money and spend your time there for a year or so, of course, choose a good brand because you would
yeah,
bring that experience back in your home country and you don't want to work for mediocre brands, right? You want to work for five-star international brands. Okay? That's a good return of it, and that's a good return on investment. And my last tip would be know why you are there. Sometimes you could get lost so easily. It's like, okay, I'm here to earn some credits on my resume. I'm here for my career. Okay? You should know why you're there. So you don't get lost. You don't get lost with the glitz and the glamour, right? Tell me it's true,
yeah,
right? You are going to spend all your money going out and you would by the time that you only have 2 months left, you haven't saved anything, right? So you should know why you're there. So that keeps you grounded and responsible. Of course you can enjoy, but really know why you are there. So
yeah.
you have the discipline in terms
Mm-hmm.
of money. Okay? So that is my tip. Now, okay, I think we're down to our last three questions. Can you still remember what you spent on when you first received your salary? Me, I still can remember. What did you do during your first salary?
My first salary, I probably went to buy Domino's or something. I
Domino's
ordered a
Pizza?
lot of, Yeah. So actually, in Domino's Pizza, especially in the US, I never actually ordered the pizza. So I always order the habanero mango spicy wings or something like that. Spicy
Mhm.
habanero wings. Um, so that was probably yeah, the first thing that I bought with my salary. But like it was such a surprise at like how much money I got. And I was like checking my bank account. I was like, oh,
It's
I wonder how much I got.
it's overwhelming,
My
right?
goodness, it
Especially if you
was.
convert that into your local currency.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
big.
actually, might have been a Chipotle, like around the corner.
Mm.
Do you know? Yeah, might have been that actually. But something related to food. I don't remember, but food.
Me, Tara, my f- what I did with my first salary, I sent it to the Philippines. I sent it to the
Oh my
Philippines.
gosh.
That's why I can never forget. I was sending money there for like for the first 4 months.
Like 100, like how much?
Let's say maybe 80% of my salary. I was really no, 85 to 90, yeah. I was sending money there.
Um,
Mm. I had to
So
send
you're using like the bare minimum just to like get
pretty
by
much.
for 4 months. Yeah.
I live in a dog bed for 6 months. I was sleeping in a dog bed. Remember?
A big dog bed?
Haven't I told you that? A dog bed. So I bought a dog bed because the size of a dog bed is about half size of a standard mattress. I couldn't afford a mattress then. Even the airbed, I couldn't afford the airbed. I think the airbed was like $100 plus. To me, it was already expensive. And I think I was eating Subway sandwich for 30 days. The whole sandwich, I was eating it half morning and evening. That's how I budgeted my money because I had so many things to pay in the Philippines, and I had to share my, my income to the people I've left in the Philippines. So it was quite a struggle for me the first like 4 to 6 months. After which, when I was able to be in a better state now, I was still sleeping in a dog bed. Then my kind roommate Julian gave me his airbed. I was fine sleeping in the floor because in the Philippines it's okay to sleep in the floor as long as you have a mattress. And mind you, the dog bed was really a mattress. It's just that it was not as long as a human body. So I bought two of them to make it look like a human body. But my roommates from Europe, they were all laughing at me while I was sleeping in a dog bed, but it's okay. I mean, it pays the bills, but it doesn't bother me. See, I had I also had my own share of humble beginnings, and I was never ashamed to share that because to anyone who's watching this, I mean, I don't want you to experience what I did. Of course, if you have your own budget, you could afford maybe to buy a mattress and a bed frame. Guys, don't follow me, but well, I had to do what I had to do that time, and I was okay with it. But that's how I spent my money, my first salary. Yeah.
I think I still remember the after the 2 weeks at the hotel was up, I had to
Yeah.
find like a apartment, right?
Mm.
So I was desperate. I couldn't find anywhere to live, and then thankfully one of the Indonesian friend, like mutual friend, um, she was like, "Oh, you can sleep in my basement," and I was like, "Oh, great, would love to do that." And that house was, I think, about 1.5 hour away the
From the
hotel
hotel.
from the hotel.
uh,
And I had to like the 30 minutes I had to walk from the house to the metro and then the metro to like the Washington DC. So it was in Maryland.
oh.
The I only lived there for about 1 month because the basement was so small. It was April. It was like really, really cold at the time.
Uh-huh.
and they had no heater. I was like given this like really small, I think like about the size of my phone, like this small like heater, like portable heater for me, and the bed was infested with I don't know
Ah,
what.
bed
Um,
bugs.
and something like that. I got bit all over my body. I was so surprised that I even lasted for that 1 month, but I had nowhere else to go, like
Mm.
zero place to go. So I had to make do, and that's also a part of like the fun experience that you get to do in the
Yeah.
US.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
people would think that if you're in the US, life there is nice. Life there's like a fairy tale. No. I mean, for some, if they have comfortable life there, I'm happy for you guys, but it was not a fairy tale for us. We all had our struggles, right? And we never
mm,
get to share these things. People would think we had all fun there. Of course we did, but these struggles never stop us from having fun, right? It was part of the process.
yeah,
I don't think it discouraged me or you to think like, oh, I'm so hopeless, I'm so pathetic, my life is a mess. No. I mean, you just have to do what you can. I mean, you can only buy what you could afford, right? So, I mean, my thinking then was, okay, I have to live like this for now so I can enjoy my tomorrow, something like that. It's not like, okay, I want to enjoy now and I cannot think of tomorrow. What's going to happen tomorrow? It's not like that. So we also have to sacrifice some things. And for those who are who are looking forward to pursue internship in the US, this is something that you also have to realize, guys. You have to learn to budget your money and your time. You have to be smart with your apartment. You have to be smart with your roommates. You have to choose the right roommates so they will not so you won't have problem with the sharing of the rent. You won't have a problem with your food. I had Europe. I was the only Asian in that house. My roommates were all European. Hey Brian, we would ask $200 from you so we could buy groceries and stuff for the kitchen. Okay, I'm good with this. And then when I say, "Hey, I'm quite hungry. Can I get something from the fridge?" Yeah, just get what you want. And when I opened the fridge, it was all mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese. Very European. So I said,
yeah,
okay, maybe on the next grocery we can just buy things for ourselves. Is that okay with you? So I had to buy my Asian food, my rice. I cannot eat
yeah,
mac
yeah.
and cheese all day. It's not me.
It's
Yeah.
surprisingly very American of them, considering they're Europeans.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problems with them. I just want more value with my money, with what I paid, right? So I think that's fair, and they understood that. So now,
Imagine $200 worth of rice. How much rice would you get?
actually, actually it was all for the utensils and the pans, the sets. I
Oh,
was I was okay with that. Of course, I had to get along with my roommates. I just couldn't be like you have to adjust with me. No, I have to adjust with them too. So it was like meeting halfway. But in terms of food, if I think it's best for us just to buy our own food and just to put everything in the fridge, I think that's okay. But if they would get some fresh eggs, I'm not gonna be mad with it. It's okay. I'm gonna get
yeah.
their eggs too. No, I'm just kidding. Now, Tara, what for you, the second to the last, what for you is the biggest advantage of pursuing an internship in the US?
Oh, advantage. Obviously, the resume. Like,
Mm,
it's gonna be in your portfolio forever.
right.
Yeah, it was very easy for me to find a job after the US actually. Because they were like so interested. When I went to an interview right after the US, they were immediately firing me questions about the US, like how was your experience there? What did you experience? And things like that. So in terms of professionally, you will get a lot of advantages from that alone.
You get promoted pretty
But
fast.
exactly, yeah. And then, it just like validates your English skills, I suppose, when you have gone through an internship in the US. In Indonesia, sometimes, you can put whatever you want in the skills, right? English, business level, Indonesian native level, whatever. But like putting like an internship in the US just kind of validates your English skills like automatically. So like, I mean, yeah, she was in the US, so obviously she speaks English. This is of course only like I think applies to like third world countries, like maybe in Asia. So that's one part. Also it just like broadens your knowledge about other cultures. Just like it teaches you how to get along with everybody like, from all kinds of backgrounds. Because
True.
like in the US, even though like yeah, they're Americans, but most of the time there are a lot of like POCs, person of colors as well.
Correct.
So you will get to know like each and different cultures that they have,
Yeah.
and then it's just more fun that way. And also to have more connections
Building your
in the
network.
US, building your network. That's what it is. Yeah, like
Right.
lots of fun friendships from different people. Um, and also it teaches you how to be independent, and
Very much.
because yeah, because US is so far from Asia, so far. It cannot get you further. So so the fact that they are there and you survived, tells you a lot about yourself, and hopefully it just creates more confidence to travel to other places in the future, trying out different
Yes.
things in the future, just like
Mm.
being more confident in what you choose.
Yeah. I think you really fired very, very good things or advantages if you would pursue an internship in the US. Just to echo what you said, it's really true in terms of independence. You are, first of all, you are in a foreign place. Of course, you are forced to immerse yourself there. You are forced to speak English every day. So your language, in terms of English, your communication skills is really harnessed, right? The language, the confidence to speak with a white guys is in a different level. I mean,
Yeah,
typical Asians, if they see a white person in Asia, chances are they would stutter, right? I mean,
yeah,
they understand them for sure, but they can express their words. So it's different when you are in the US and you're not just speaking with Americans, you gain relationships with them, you make friends with them, you talk with them casually. So I say this in a humble way. It really boosts your confidence to yourself as well. You get to learn more things about yourself, the things that you don't want, the things that you like, and you get to realize your strengths and the things that you could improve as well in the US. Since people there are more direct, you get more real-time feedback as well. I like that. And people there, you would agree to me on this. We are more empowered to make decisions, right?
yeah,
We don't need to call the manager every now and then if something happened. We are empowered to make decisions. So in that way, we are slowly being trained to level up our quick judgment skills. As long as we are given the right parameters of decision making, it makes us more mature in terms of decision making. I really like that. And another one is it makes you more well-rounded. It makes you really more well-rounded, not only in the hospitality industry, but it makes you realize that there's so much more to see and so much more to know. Like, why just limit yourself in Indonesia? Why only limit yourself in the Philippines when the world is so big, right?
yep.
Okay, now, final tip. Tara, what is your advice to the youth in pursuing what they want in life. So this is not only for hospitality. To the youth who may be watching this one, what would be your advice to the youth in pursuing what they want in life?
Hmm.
Once upon a time, you were that youth, youth. So what is your advice?
Um, yeah, so I think you really need to know if hospitality is your passion,
Hmm.
because hospitality is definitely not for everyone. And most of the time, well, not most of the time, but sometimes your decisions might be influenced by your friends, by your family. So you really need to know deep down within yourself whether you really want to pursue that career in the first place. Because this is probably a place where still trying to find what you want to do in life, what you want to choose to be in the future, and really listen to that small part inside your heart, and then you can make your informed decision after you do your research as well, because hotel is so much more than just check in and check out. There
Right.
are a lot of things in the hotel industry that you can choose from: finance, sales and marketing, F&B, food and beverage. So yeah, really do your research. And for those who are really wanting to pursue hospitality, freaking do it. Like, explore all your opportunities. Like, the reason I chose hospitality is because I wanted to travel, and I really did travel a lot of different places. It really gave me that opportunity. And so, do what your heart tells you. And this is a um, quite a tricky one, but for those who are in the hospitality industry and feeling burned out, overworked, feeling like they don't want to be the hospitality industry anymore, nobody's holding you back. Try new things in your life if you want to,
Mhm.
because I think what the COVID taught us is how, like, we can actually move from the hospitality industry and pursuing what we actually want to do. Like, some people stopped working in a hotel and become a freelance photographer, or like a freelance writer,
Right. It's not
or
the end.
whatever it may be.
It's not a dead end.
Yeah, yeah, and you might think like, oh, it's not good on my CV or whatever. The fact that you are pursuing something that you are passionate about, you will no longer, like, see a CV as something like very important. You will start to prioritize your own mental health and what you want to do in life. And work actually starts to become fun for you if you
Right.
start pursuing that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, really.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The pandemic really taught us so many things that first of all, we have to be very practical in terms of decision making. If the industry that you are currently at isn't really enough to pay the bills, by all means, you have to find better opportunities because the industry might stop, but the bills don't even stop. So
Yeah,
you have to be very
unfortunately.
smart about that. Yeah, unfortunately, the bills don't really stop. So you have to be smart with it. But when if if you transition to another industry, always make sure that the job that you're currently at is also very transferable as like has some transferable skills, or it could there is also a chance for you for growth on that industry. So that means you're
Oh,
not stagnant on that. There are chances for promotion, there are chances for
mhm.
expansion, or on that similar position, it's easier for you to transfer to another field with a related position, something like that. So, I mean, in the hospitality field, it's customer service oriented, right? And customer service is not only limited to hotels, it's pretty much everywhere. So the common ground is customer service. So you can make use of that. It's a very transferable skill. So you could transition to the BPO industry. You could transition to the airline industry. Airline is slowly booming now. You could transition to the banking industry, like to be in the front lines. But of course, the pay is different now, but you just have to do what you could do for now. And in terms of the youth who want to pursue internship or whatever they want in life, me on my end, my advice would be know what you want. I mean, it's very different to know what you want when you are very young. So you have to make sure there's always a marriage between what you like and what you are good at. You have you have to think of what you're good at and you have to think of what you like. You have to think of what's currently in demand now and what you're good at. So you have to seize the opportunity. Sometimes if there's a high demand for that and you are leaning to that kind of skill or course, I would I would recommend for you to take that. Because if the opportunity is still there, go ahead. But if you are rich, if you're born rich, you don't need that. You could just do whatever you want. You could pursue your passion. It's really different if you're rich.
You're rich, you can, I don't know, build your own hotel and
Yeah,
live in it.
I don't think you have to think of the course in terms of being practical. You just have to follow your passion 100%. It's different. So that's it. Tara, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate talking with you, and I hope that we were able to share our experience well, and I hope this would shed some light for people who are curious about pursuing internship, and hopefully this would give them better idea if it's really for them or not. Mind you guys, US is not the only way for you to pursue internship. You could start with
Yeah.
Singapore, you could start with Australia or Canada. The thought here is it's overseas. It would still demand independence. It would still demand budgeting. It would still demand good work ethics. So wherever you go, whatever industry you would decide to be at overseas, always do your best. Do your best, know why you are there, and get all the learnings that you could have. So once you are back in your home country, you're the most in demand, fragrant celebrity of your industry. That's really true, right, Tara? Because when we came back to our country, I became a hotel duty manager. You became a hotel duty manager, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So our bosses in Weston should be so proud of us. The program really gave birth to managers, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
true. That's true. So I hope to whoever's watching this one, that should be your goal. Once you pursue internship, for example, if your position in the US is like an entry level, the next moment you step in your home country, you should be a supervisor. Never settle for anything less than that. If you are a supervisor already in the US, you should be a manager in your home country. You should always escalate. Never settle for anything less, especially if you're young. You should be hungry for learning, right?
Yep.
Okay. Hey Tara, how do you say it in Indonesian? Terima kasih for your time and for sharing your knowledge with us. I really hope that this would open doors. I like that, open doors. Open
Open
doors,
door.
yeah, open doors for people exploring hospitality. And it's for if it's really for them, I wish you all the good luck, right?
And you as well. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for this opportunity. So happy to
very
be here.
much. It's good to see you again. Please keep in touch in Facebook, and I hopefully would see you soon. Maybe in the US, maybe in Thailand, maybe in Indonesia again. I would like to visit Bali again next time. Or you should visit the
Yep.
Philippines. I would show you around.
Or yeah, actually I would love to go there.
Yeah,
So
let's bring Run Run.
yeah.
Okay.
And Bob.
Hey, and Bob and Wesley.
Yeah.
Tara, good night and thank you for your time.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, see
Bye
you soon.
everyone.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button to get notified for new uploads. Take care.